Hey there, Tamir from Fibonacci-Traders.com here, daily market recap, October 24th, 2023. Like, subscribe, and let's see what SPY and Friends brought us today. SPY with a doji, as we said yesterday, touched this red trend line bounce, but another doji, which means neither side, bulls or bears, are in control right now. On the longer term, bears are still in control. We need a break above the 424 and then we can see 431. Breaking below the 420, we will see once again this area, the 415, together with this red trend line. Breaking below this red trend line and we will see 409 and then 393 to the downside. Overall, bearish sentiment. Bulls are not gaining the power back. QQQ with 1% to the upside. 360 resistance. You know all these levels, you know all these trend lines because you saw previous videos. Trend lines, Fibonacci levels are the true support resistance and our roadmap for future price action. Now 360 needs to break to the upside, then we will see 365 breaking below the 356 and we will see 351 and then to the downside once again heading to this red line to the downside. Dow Jones, another day, another doji hanging above the 328 because the bulls of the Dow knows that once the 328 will fall and break to the downside, we will see this red trend line getting retested once again as a lower low. Overall, Dow Jones, this is why we use trend lines. We have lower highs, lower lows, so we are in a downtrend until proven otherwise. IWM trying to get back inside this downtrend red channel, but we have now the 168 area from support now will become resistance, failing to close the week above the 168, and we will see continue sliding down on this red line towards the 162, breaking below the 162, and next we will see 156 on IWM. We have a gap over here, and we know that more than 85-90% of all gaps will get filled, whether they are to the downside or to the upside. All we need to do, follow price and use trend lines as our guide for future price action. Bitcoin, now at the 34 area, will be a very tough resistance. Some kind of a cool off after few days of a bull run to the upside from 29 to the 34. Cool off will be very healthy for Bitcoin bulls. This area, resistance, support. Now, support once again. In my opinion, retesting the 31,700, this 32 area will be very healthy before the next leg up. If and when the next leg up will come, then we will see 37 and then we will see once again 44 and 48 to the upside. Mara still struggling with this purple trend line. We talked about this purple trend line few days back. We talked about this red zone few days back. This red zone, very tough zone of support and resistance, and here we are. With all the upside, we are still hanging on this trend line and inside this red zone. Riot holding above the 875 area. 875, very important area of support, but this green zone, very tough resistance. It was support over here. Support, broke to the downside. Now this area, very tough resistance. Continuation to the upside. Next will be 1290. Breaking below this green zone, we will see once again 875. We have a gap over here. We have also a few gaps to the upside. Overall, Riot moving sideways. Coin 6.3% to the upside, but closed the day with a doji with a bearish sentiment below the 83.22 area. This 83.22 area is the 618 Fibonacci retracement with an uptrend retracement. Now 618 is the resistance. Not surprising, it was resistance, resistance, and resistance since middle of August. Let's see if bulls of coin, which depends also on the bulls of Bitcoin, can finally break above and close above this 83, and then we will see 95.50 to the upside. Ethereum, trend lines are the true support resistance for price action. I know I sound like a broken record, but it is what it is. You know these trend lines, we drew them way back, few days back, few weeks back. Purple trend line, lower highs. Now let's see this white trend line getting retested once again. Maybe before the next leg up, retesting once again this purple trend line, breaking below this white line. And we will see once again the 1600 area. Crude oil futures CL1 back inside this red zone. This red zone is like a magnet for price action for CL1, crude oil futures. Red zone, resistance, now support, breaking below, no need to guess, we will see 77 to the downside once again. NG1, natural gas futures, holding above the 286, but 3 area, tough resistance. You know this 3 area, you know this 286 area. We talked about them in the past few weeks. After this trend line got rejected, we said that we will retest the 3, we will retest the 286. Now let's see where price will take us. If bulls will come back, no need to guess. We are heading towards the 319 area, closing this gap, and then once again towards the 360 area. This trend line to the upside, breaking below the 286. We have this trend line holding for now the higher lows since April, breaking below this trend line, and this gap will get filled. It's not rocket science, just look left where price came from, and with high probability where price might be heading next. Bullish sentiment, of course, to the upside, closing this gap. Bearish sentiment to the downside, closing this gap. SOXX still in a downtrend channel. Monday's doji, today inside candle, indecision. Let's see where SOXX will head next, breaking below the 456. We are heading 445, and then we have an open gap at the 432 area. Bounce continuation above 464 towards 476, together with this yellow trend line. Check the links in the description below. We have the Fibonacci Academy playlist. 25 videos on how to become a better trader each and every day. On the technical side and the psychology behind trading, it's free. So before you take any other paid service, check it out. And if you're already checking the links in the description below, we have more links, more educational resources. Check them and choose your own path to become profitable, successful trader. KRE still inside this purple downtrend channel, downtrend until proven otherwise. You can take Fibonacci, swing low, swing high, next support 37.20 to the downside, together with this purple trend line. XLE, as we said, multi-top scenario, getting validated each and every day, continuation to the downside, and we will see 86, 84, and then back to this white trend line. XLV, trying to get back above this white trend line that holding the higher lows since June of 2022. As you can see, each and every time price reach this trend line, bounce. Can we get a bounce also here? For now, we need to sit and wait. In my opinion, bounce continuation only above 129, and then we will see 130 and 132, and maybe we have a double bottom scenario over here, but it's too early. We are not here to predict the future. We are here to follow price. and try to identify with the highest probability, with the help of trend lines and Fibonacci levels, where price might be heading next. If we continue to the downside, these are all future support for XLV. Apple, Doji, inside candle, 170.60 needs to hold the support, otherwise 167 gap will get filled. 1 week until Apple's earnings. Can we get a bounce? Continuation towards this yellow trend line? Maybe breaking up and above it once and for all? This yellow trend line helps us to identify the lower highs since the peak of August. Microsoft post earnings going up 4%, if I'm not mistaken. Almost 4% to the upside, beating earnings on all data, revenue, cloud, EPS. Very strong earnings for Microsoft. Next resistance, 345, above it 355, and then we will see all-time highs, 367. But it will open with a gap to the upside, and you know that more than 85% of all gaps will get filled, so do not chase. We want to see the 337 holding a support, and then we can start taking our long position back to the 344 and then 355. Google, on the other hand, missed and went down 6% to the downside. 130 now is the support. Not surprising after hours on this Fibonacci support. Continuation to the downside, we will see 127, below 127. Embrace yourself. And we will see this gap at the 123 getting filled. Meta, tomorrow after the close. Nothing much on Meta yet. 307 from resistance. Support in the past few days. Breaking down another, and this red line will get retested as a support. Bad reaction for the earnings. And 294, and all this area, the 294, and this red trend line will get broken to the downside, and we will see 285 and 274. Too many gaps on Meta to the downside. We have the 214 gap. We have the 153 gap. And we have also the 97 gap. We have also another gap over here. But it doesn't mean that all these gaps will get filled. 80% of them will. It's a matter of time. So brace yourself. Good reaction for Meta earnings. And we are going to the upside towards the 355. And then 383. Amazon. Earnings coming up Thursday after the bell. We have a double bottom scenario of multi-bottom of the 124. Can it get validated before the earnings? Closing above the 131, and we are heading towards this gap over here, and then all-time highs, not all-time highs, new high above the 146. Bad reaction for the earnings of Amazon, and the 124 area will get broken to the downside, and we will see slowly Amazon heading towards the 106 gap, filling this gap over here. And embrace yourself. If Meta and Amazon will fail in their earnings, SPY and Qs are going south. Deep south. Tesla, another day, another doji. 211 needs to hold. Let's see if bulls of Tesla can hold this 211. Otherwise, we are heading towards the 192. 171, and we have this major gap at the 146. We have a multi-top scenario on a higher time frame, which is getting validated each and every day that goes by, and bears will come full power below the 211 towards the 146 gap. Netflix finally breaking above the 410, but not much of a price action. Let's see where Netflix, I want to see another day at least above the 410, and then we're heading towards the 427 and then 455, breaking below, and 397 back as support. Nvidia trying to make a run from this red zone, because bulls of Nvidia knows that once this red zone will get broken to the downside, we are heading towards the 372, and we have the 306 gap, major gap to the downside. But for now, looks like Nvidia bulls are heading north, trying to keep price away from this red zone. Shopify back inside this red zone until we will get a clear move from Shopify, whether to the downside below this red zone, then we can take short towards the 48 gap. Another close above 43, 44, and we can start taking our long towards the 56, this higher barrier of this red zone. Above it, this gap will get filled, and above it, 60 will get filled. Follow price. Do not try to be a hero. Look left. Try to find by your own without relying on any other indicators, and don't rely on any other patterns, because patterns are not reliable. The only thing we can rely on is candlestick analysis. Fibonacci, which we don't really need. It helps us a lot. But if you train your eyes to look left, where price came from, why price is now here, and where price might be heading next, trust me, it's a process. It took me at least 1.5 to 2 years to really understand price action on multi-time frames, and then you will become consistent, profitable trader. AMD, last but not least, continues sliding down on this red trend line, and as long as price is sliding on this red trend line, the way is south. Don't be a hero. Don't try to catch the bottom, because no one knows where the bottom might be. It can continue sliding down, and we have all the levels to the downside to manage our risk. For next support, breaking below this red trend line, we will see 94 and then 85 to the downside. Check the links in the description below. Choose your own path. Stop following others to tell you what to do, where to buy, what to sell. Stop relying on all these lagging indicators and all the strategies that follow these indicators. For me, after 2 years of trial and error, I found none of them really gives us what we are looking for. And what we are looking for as traders is where to enter, where to put our stop loss, and where to take profits. That's it. Sounds easy? It's not. If you want to become consistent, profitable trader, you need to give everything that you have. And even then, 95% of all traders fail. So thank you very much for joining this video. I hope you found it educational, helpful. If you did, like, subscribe, share with friends, hit the notification bell. We are going live 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, pre-market preparation show. Until the next video, stay safe.